What is going on, everybody? Zionic here, and in today's video, we're running another strong team that you guys can use in the Great League. Altaria, Ferrothorn, and Drapion. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this team, and let's go and get right into it. Alright, getting into game one, we have Altaria versus Galarian Stunfisk. In these situations, you have to go into Drapion right away. This will beg them to stay in, as landing an Earthquake can potentially one-shot the Drapion. So, we're going to play to that, and we're going to stay in with Drapion and give up a shield right here, and it was just a Rock Slide shield bait. Gosh dang it, that was... When you shield the Earthquake, it is so satisfying, but when you shield the Rock Slide, you know you start to clench up like, I'm about to get boomed. But we do get the defense drop right there, and we are able to get to a second crunch in time. What's great about Drapion in these situations, because I know a lot of you are probably in the comments going, what do you do against Galarian Stunfisk? I can see you typing it right now. You force them to stay in. Now look, Altaria is now away from Galarian Stunfisk. We are in 1-to-1 shields, and Ferrothorn can still put in some work right here. Look, switch clock is back up. My Altaria is safely away. They decide to swap in Venusaur, so I build up to that Power Whip and bail back out. So the Venusaur now coming in is going to hit us for neutral damage with Sludge Bomb, which is okay. But I need to keep my Altaria alive. I gotta make sure I have a good amount of health because I'm worried there might be a Trevenant as well in the back. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Sky Attack here before they can get to another Sludge Bomb. But they decide to no-shield this one. Boom! And it's actually going to be a Jellicent in the back. So it was not a Trevenant. It was a Jellicent, which is even better now for our team because Ferrothorn can core break this right here. This is looking beautiful. The Jellicent is going to have to throw a Shadow Ball in order to take us out, or Ice Beam, if it does have access to that, and it is going to be the Shadow Ball. So Altaria goes down and is now up to Ferrothorn to close this game out. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Power Whip right away. I don't want them to bail out with energy, so we do take it out. And now it's Stunfisk versus Ferrothorn, and this is what's great about having that Grass Steel typing, is you take neutral from Earthquake if it does land. Still a lot of damage, but it does not one-shot. And 2 Power Whips should be enough to close this game out. One will get the shield, the second one should be able to take out the Galarian Stunfisk. So we do get a shield right there. We're going to go ahead and go for the next one now, and Ferrothorn is just so spammy. It is beautiful to see. So this is going to be... Oh, barely didn't take it out right there, but they are at a Rock Slide now, so we're going to go ahead and shield, and we should actually be able to fast move down before they can get to one more Rock Slide. Yeah, we should be able to fast move down, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Getting the next one, we got Altaria now versus Skarmory. So this is a tough situation because Skarmory and Altaria have been battling in the skies for the longest time, and I know there's got to be something in the back that is a fighter or a starter, like a Swampert Venusaur, right? There's got to be a Swampert in the back. There's no way there isn't because of the Skarmory lead, right? They got to have coverage to Galarian Stunfisk and Bastiodon. So I swap into the Drapion now and go for a crunch since they're deciding to stay in, and now they bail out into Shadow Swampert after I sent some energy out, which is why I definitely overloaded on energy, so that way we can get to another crunch right here. And look at that. Even though this is Shadow Swampert, which a lot of you go, oh, this is a counter to Drapion. Come on, guys. Look at how much damage that crunch is doing. We can safely shield as well and get to another crunch right here to take out the Swampert. And this is a beautiful situation for us because this is likely going to force a shield now from them, which it does. Now we're in the 1-to-1 shield situation, and I can safely let this go, come in with Ferrothorn, and load up on energy. Bullet Seed does a lot of damage. We should be able to fast move down. And if they have another fighter in the back, we will, or another counter to tanks in the back, not just Swampert, which it is a Scrafty, we can get to the Power Whip in time, which is going to be very, very important. And even if Skarmory came back in, we have access to Thunder. So we go ahead and now swap out into Altaria, throw the Sky Attack right away to force that final shield from our opponent. And if you remember, the Skarmory stayed in a bit too long, so which means it is very low on health right here. So we can safely shield this potential Brave Bird from our opponent, and then look to go for the Sky Attack ourselves, as we should be CMP tying right here. Nope, they had to do one more fast move, which is fine. So this is going to take out the Skarmory, and then we should be able to get Scrafty extremely low, but it's going to be able to get to a Foul Play, which will take us out. So now it is going to be up to Ferrothorn to try to beat this Scrafty. So let's see if it can do it. Remember, it gains energy very quickly. Scrafty head slamming away, hoping to take us out. They get to the charge move. I'm like, I think that was a bit quick for foul play. And sure enough, it was just a power-up punch, which is not enough to take us out. And we get to that power whip in time. And that is going to be a good battle. Very well played. We wouldn't have been able to get to that power whip if we didn't load up on energy against the Swampert there in the mid-game. Beautiful. All right, get in the next one. We have Altaria versus Registeel. Okay. This is a tough one. We're going to go straight in the Drapion. They bring in a Scrafty right away. Okay. They got a Scrafty now. So we've already drawn out what is probably the hardest counter to Ferrothorn, but unfortunately for us, the Focus Blast from Registeel does really nice against Ferrothorn as well. So we have to make sure we keep shield advantage right here. So we're going to look to go for 2 Sludge Bombs. That's what you have to do in this situation against Scrafty. They will not be able to take you out if they go for back-to-back power-up punches like we are right here. You can safely get to 2 Sludge Bombs in time to force yourself shield advantage, or you get switch right here, right? Don't go for the crunch because they may no-shield it. You want to force those shields, and then Scrafty is going to be able to farm us down. So now we got to come in with Altaria and fully farm down with Dragon Breath. That way have a good amount of energy, and we're going to hope that Ferrothorn can go 2-to-1 shields against Registeel and whatever is in the back. So let's see if we can pull this off. We farm down. We're going to go ahead and swap right away into Ferrothorn, and it's a Shadow Machamp in the back. Hard countered, literally getting countered in the face right here. So I decide to no shield this cross chop because I think I might be able to survive. No, boom! I get one shot. That's game over. It's a wrap. This is what happens sometimes when you run teams. Sometimes you get extremely hard countered by obscure teams that you may not see all the time. So like a Registeel double fighter right there. I haven't seen that in the longest time. So kudos to my opponent. Hard locking every single Pokemon that I had down. I decided to shield and fight the good fight. But ultimately, I know Altaria is not going to be able to do anything because of the Zap Cannon debuff. So as you can see, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and let them hit us with the next charge move. So I'll go ahead and no shield this. And that's going to be a good game, very well played. It happens. You're not going to win them all. You're going to get hard countered sometimes. It's the nature of Go Battle League. It's blind threes. All right, moving next one, we got Altaria versus Lanturn. Now, this is something we can work with right here, as we're only taking neutral damage. They do have Spark as the fast move. It might be kind of hard to see, but it is Spark. And we're going to go ahead and soak this Thunderbolt and then look to swap out into our Drapion to get ahead on energy. So the Lanturn here is relatively low, coming near 50% HP, and with this crunch as well, it's definitely going to put it into the yellow, which we really want. We want this thing to get extremely low, that way we can farm it down later with Ferrothorn, because they're likely gonna swap out. And they decide to bring in Galarian Stunfisk, which again, like we saw in game 1, this is a manageable situation because of how much damage Crunch does. We also hope to shield the potential Earthquake. If they build up enough energy, I will be shielding it. But Crunch right here is so spammy, and it can do really nice neutral damage. That 3 of them will take out the Galarian Stunfisk. So we're gonna go ahead and shield this charge move. It was the Earthquake! Let's go! We got the Earthquake shield. Alright, so now we are sitting really good. We can get to another crunch in time. This is going to force a shield from them as well. And they'll have to throw a second, or they can throw a Rock Slide here and farm me down potentially. So I'm going to let this go, because I can come in with Ferrothorn and really load up on energy. So Rock Slide's not enough to take me out, and unfortunately I can't get to the next crunch. But we have Altaria with a Sky Attack loaded. Lanturn is relatively low but has some energy, and Ferrothorn right here can really load up on energy. Now they decide to swap into Tropius, so we are going to be able to get to the Sky Attack now. And this is going to be, I think, a good game, because Ferrothorn now is positioned to sweep this team. Even though this is Air Slash Tropius, it can do neutral damage, and Altaria might just go down. We can at least get this Tropius out of the sky with Dragon Breath and Sky Attack, forcing that final shield from our opponent. So I decided to let myself get a little bit lower in case they decide to let this go, because I don't want Galarian Stunfisk to get a lot of energy. They decided to come in with Lanturn anyways and farm me down, and this is fine. You gotta recognize that the hardest hitting move left in the game is going to be an Earthquake from Galarian Stunfisk, so no shield everything from Lanturn, because it is resistant, it doesn't do much damage. So I will solely save my shield for Galarian Stunfisk's potential Earthquake. So we're just going to go ahead and farm down with Bullet Seed, and that is going to be a good game. We have 2 Power Whips ready to go. Galarian Stunfisk is within range, and that's going to be a good battle. This team really surprised me, and honestly, it put in a lot of work. It's pretty flexible. You can manage a lot of the matchups unless you're extremely hard countered, like we saw with the Registeel Double Fighter. There's not a lot you can do right there. The only thing is maybe if, or good game right there, is if I get that Power Whip versus Machamp, potentially. Alright, so we got Shadow Swampert again on the lead here, and we see a Drapion come in. So we're not swapping out. You may think, okay, well, Altaria counters Swampert. Why wouldn't you want to swap out? Well, I have a Ferrothorn in the back, right? So I'd much rather be in the matchup of Altaria versus Drapion here and save Ferrothorn to align to Swampert rather than going into the mirror with Drapion. So we do get a shield right there, which is fine. I believe this is going to be another crunch from them. I'm risking it. I'm like, you know what? It's not going to be Sludge Bomb. It's going to be crunch. We're going to go ahead and no shield, and it was another crunch because we can survive that. It's fine. And as you guys can see, Dragon Breath is doing so much damage that I am in control right here. I can force 2 shields now from a Drapion. Nope, they let it go. So we are able to take switch and have shield advantage. That's how sweet this matchup is because we have a hard counter in the back for Swampert. So Swampert decides to come back into this matchup, which is a pretty big tell that they might be weak in the back to Altaria, so I'm guessing another grass-type Pokemon, potentially, or a fighter, something weak to Altaria. We go down, and we're going to go ahead and bring in the Ferrothorn now, and it's actually an Umbreon. Very interesting, so this is actually going to be a good game. Umbreon doesn't have the real damage output to take out both a Ferrothorn and a Drapion, so we're going to go ahead and swap on the charge move to catch the Foul Play, because that's another way to really enhance the win condition for us, because if we catch Foul Play, it's resisted. If they throw Last Resort, then it's a lot more neutral damage. And in this situation, we're just going to go straight Sludge Bombs right here. You don't want to go Crunch, even though you think, oh, maybe we can apply the debuff. No, it's going to be resisted and it's going to do no damage. Just go straight for Sludge Bombs, especially up 2-to-1 shields. We have Ferrothorn for Swampert. It's going to be a good game. We're going to go ahead and no-shield everything as well. And they threw another Foul Play, which made me think, oh, maybe they're running Psychic Foul Play. But I think that was honestly a shield bait on them because this now is going to be a Last Resort, which is fine. I'm fine with this either way. They decide to swap into Swampert, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the Crunch because this will KO if they decide to let it go. And, yep, there it goes. Boom! See ya! And we're going to go ahead and swap in the Ferrothorn now versus Umbreon and go for 2 Power Whips. Umbreon is fighting the good fight, so kudos to the battler, but we had him in a real nice checkmate situation. With the Ferrothorn to Swampert matchup and Altaria being able to handle Drapion. Similar to me getting checkmated by the Registeel Double Fighter, this just happens in some of your games. Some games are going to come up clutch where you make a beautiful catch or you land a charge move, but ultimately some games you lock the opponent down where they really have not a huge amount of win conditions right there. But either way, this team was super fun to use. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Altaria, Ferrothorn, and Drapion. So like always, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.